So we're talking to this guy, to the homeowner. No, let's go back. So we're driving around the neighborhood, we validate it. So he wanted 150 is what he was pretty tight on. And I said, hey, look, do you have a little flexibility, maybe to 140? He says, well, I actually said about 138 because I'm looking for the $10,000 in the challenge, minimum, plus cost. And he's like, well, we might be able to do that. He says, I don't want to talk any hard numbers. I was like, me neither. I just want to make sure that we got some kind of room in there. He's like, yeah, we have some room. So we go to the house, we're checking everything around, and then we see a house right across the street. Oh, ours was bigger than theirs, right across the street. What were they selling it for?
170.
170. So we had them at 140. The house was worth 170. Probably a little bit more because ours had an extra bedroom. Right. And a whole extra area, probably like 600 square feet more. So we definitely knew that we were in the right place, talking to the right person. We drive around, and this is what, tell them what you learned from that part of driving around and before we should actually talk to the seller.
Well, it's funny because after we drove around the neighborhood, we parked, and Jason and I, you know, I'm following Jason's lead, and, you know, he says, okay, so we got to get our game plan together. You know, and it's funny because normally when I talk to sellers, I would just go over to the house and, you know, get out the car and talk to them. Don't put no game plan together. So we put a game plan together on how we will approach the seller. That way we know what we're going to talk about. We know what our goal is with the property. And so we had everything together. So we sit down, and it was a big learning lesson for me because I never do that, you know. And so we sit down, we talked about what our goal was. Our goal was to get in light, okay, get a little room in the property.
Some equity.
And, right, get some equity. And how to approach the seller, because we just can't, you know, you can't come off like, okay, we're investors and we want to do this. No, we can't. It's too hard. So we had to come up with a nice soft game plan, and we came up with the game plan. We executed pretty good, I think.
Yeah, and here's the other thing that he said. So we came up with a really good game plan. Not only did we come up with the game plan, but we role played it.
Oh yeah.
We made believe he was the seller, and right. So we got to role play and reenact it, so we could get the words out of our mouth. So when we were in front of the homeowner, we were like blah 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 blah. Blah. We know what we wanted to say, but getting it in your head and then getting it out and that communication in a smooth fashion is two different things. So we role played out loud. That went really good. In fact, I'll be honest, I do it all the time on every house. I bought hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of houses. I do this all the time. Because even though I have all the experience, I want to make sure that I know what I'm saying, I know that it goes smooth, and that's exactly the way we role played. It's exactly the way it went. He was very open. We had a great conversation. We built rapport with him in the house. We inspected the house. He let us take, you know, we told him we wanted to take pictures to show. We took like 50, 60 pictures. In fact, we'll show you some of the pictures, all in the inside. He told us everything about the house. I asked him, how much did he owe? He was looking to rent the house. I asked him all these questions. How much did you owe? He told us exactly what he owed. He told us exactly what his payment was. He told us everything about the property. See, because what we started to do is we started shifting the conversation from tenant into investor, into someone that was asking some good questions, building rapport with them, and he was willing to tell us everything. So that's a huge learning lesson right there. Big time learning lesson. Then, so we pre-screened the property, and this is what happened. So the property needed a little bit more, a little bit of work. It was kind of dated where it was. It had like pinstripe wallpaper. Some of the wallpaper was pulled. It needed some carpet. It was a very, very nice house. From the exterior, very well maintained. It probably needed a pressure wash. It was vinyl, just clean it all up. Very nice house. It needed a little bit of work. So it wasn't the perfect like move-in scenario, but we could probably do something on it. And what we're probably going to do is we're probably going to definitely tie it down. Well, let me take a step back. He spoke. Well, we didn't tie it down yesterday because it was him and his wife. He needed to talk to his wife. Now on normal circumstances, I would not have gone and take a look at the house without the wife there because I want them to make a decision. But because this is so extreme and we have such limited time, I didn't have time to play back and forth. So let's go to the house. Let's see it. Let's make a firm offer. Let's tell him what we can do. And when we told him what we could do, he was actually really excited. He was like, yes, let me just talk to the wife and we'll figure it out from there. So that's, we're going to work on that the next day and make that happen, tie it down. And we'll see if it goes in with with the first one, but it's definitely a backup on that. So there was a lot of rapport, and when I left him, I made sure that he understood everything. He had some questions, and I answered his questions to the best of my ability. Listen to that. I need you to hear that. I am no rocket scientist. What I do is a lot of times, I just use a lot of common sense. He says, look, are you going to bring people in the house? How are they going to get, how do we know they're going to get qualified on it? And I told him, well, what we would do, we would get them working with a mortgage broker up front. We would get them their credit repaired up front. We make sure that the people put a nice deposit up front to ensure those things. And he was like, wow, you know, I've never heard anybody say it that way. That sounds like a winning plan. And all I did is I just came up with it on the top of my head. Well, we normally do work those, but I just told him what we would do, and it was just a regular conversation from one human being to another human being. So where we're at right now, we're gonna talk he's talking to the wife. Torrey and I are consulting to see how we're actually gonna put this all together. And he sounds like he's ready to go. At that point, what we're gonna do is we're gonna put a basic an agreement together, some preliminary paperwork. Just says that we have the right to buy it, kind of like an option agreement. And with that option, that allows us to actually go and sell it over to somebody else from the overflow from the first house is going into that house is what it looks like. We still have some other prospects that we're going to look, so we're not sure if we're going to overflow from that one to just that one or whichever house, but it's going to be overflow traffic. No matter what, we're putting some legs on Torrey's business so he can have this property. I mean, there's $30,000 in it and probably about $300 a month in cash flow.
Exactly.
And with our exit strategy of owner financing it, he could definitely get a minimum of $12,000 down. It's in a beautiful, beautiful neighborhood. Beautiful. So you'll see some pictures on that. So that's the whole process in there. And what, like Torrey said, what he got out of it was the whole planning, the whole thing up front, the whole conversation up front, seeing the exit strategy. What are we going to tell the people? And I know a lot of you wanted the step-by-step, so this is the step-by-step in it. I know the other thing, some of you guys want us to bring the camera in with the client. We're not doing that. The reason why we're not doing that, could you imagine I'll come in and say, hi, my name is Jason Rodriguez. Oh, by the way, I want to bring in my friend Torrey and my camera guy so that I can go by your house. Oh, make sure that you speak and sell me the house. Yes. No, it just doesn't work. They get scared. They're going to get turned off. So that's why we're not bringing the camera in, and we have to tell you this way. And we'll see how, you know, if we can get somebody to do it maybe after the fact, then that might be a conversation. So we'll talk to you on that. All right. Thank you so much. That was our house with Mr. Mark, and talk to you later. Bye.